From One of One Production Studios, broadcasting from NYC, you are listening to Unexpected Success with your host, Joy.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unexpected Success with me, your host, Joy. I have Mike B in the studio today. Mike, what's up?
What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm good. I've only known you for like 30 years.
Yeah.
25 maybe.
25 to be exact.
Right?
About.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it really
like
is.
We were kids.
Yeah.
I know. It's so good to see how well you're doing. Bogard by Mike B is a lifestyle accessory brand, which started off kind of with skins, but you're going to branch out and do more things.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny you say that because as a stylist, I've always wanted to have my own brand, but at the same time, I didn't want to do I didn't want to do an apparel collection. Oh shit!
Hey!
Oh, sorry, TV land.
I know. That's a perfect song, though. I love that ringtone.
True story.
Right, you're still focused.
So you know, I didn't want to do an apparel collection for one because I felt the world didn't need another clothing company. I felt like that lane is like so oversaturated right now.
But not with us, though.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. For me, I feel so because, you know, it's like. It's kind of like the rap game at first. Everybody wanted to be a rapper.
Right.
Now everybody wants to be a designer, which is cool. I don't knock that.
I'm fascinated by this conversation. So because, you know, so here's the thing. And I just had this discussion. I forget who I was talking to, but we were talking about how, you know, maybe like 15 years ago we had Call Kanai, Aniche, Fubu, Fat Farm, Sean Jean. I mean, you know, we had a lot of designers of color, like urban lines, right? Mm-hmm. And now there's nobody.
I mean, well, there's
nobody.
I get what you're saying. Trust me, I get what you're saying, and I kind of understand why, and the reason for that is because a lot of those brands. Like the Sean Johns and the Rockawares.
I forgot about Rockaware.
Yeah, and
Apple
Rockaware
Bottoms
too,
and
Apple Bottom,
right?
And, you know, so on and so forth. Vocal, you know, it's funny you say that because I feel like they started to diminish when these owners of these companies started wearing and promoting these big Italian brands,
right?
That really didn't really care about us to begin with, right? So you have, let's say, you know, big homie who has Sean John or, you know, Jay has Rockaware, whatever the case may be, but in their raps, they talking about Givenchy and Gucci and Fendi.
So there was no alignment.
Right.
No alignment.
But at first, of course, when they started, they were talking about that. They were promoting that. Mm-hmm. But then as the game started to evolve, you know, and, you know, I guess the more they're promoting their lifestyle and how they really move throughout the game, it has to show a certain luxury to it.
I think that makes sense.
So their urban brand that they sell to the Midwest can't really relate to
or lower income
and a rock bottom economy to where that audience can't really relate to jumping on a G5 and staying at the Givenchy 5-star hotel, and you know what I'm saying? And eating the caviar. So there had to be, you know, I guess, you know, their lyrics had to change to represent that luxury.
No, it makes sense.
Evolution.
You know, it's interesting. I never thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but for me, I didn't want to do another clothing apparel company because not only did I kind of feel that, you know, it was kind of getting oversaturated, but as a stylist, you know, I guess, and me being the clothes whore that I am too,
Right.
I couldn't really see myself
Shout out to
wearing,
the clothes horse.
I couldn't really see myself just wearing just my brand head to toe.
Yeah.
Right? Every single day.
Yeah.
But you know, I wanted to, you know, you have these brands that, you know, at the same time, I still had to be the stylist that I am, and I had to, you know, dress my clients. So I had to, you know, play both sides of the fence,
Right.
and still, you know, put them in this fly look, head to toe, but yet and still I wanted to create product that would, you know, finish out that and add to and
Right.
enhance
So
their
polish.
look. Absolutely.
That last bit of polish. You
Right.
wanna add
So
to
while
it.
everybody else was baking the cake, I wanted to come with the icing.
Right.
You know, and
which makes
to
sense.
lay on
No,
top.
of course, right.
So there's hats, there's gloves, there's bags, there's ties.
And all those
you know,
things
there's
really
coats,
pull, like they really
poncho.
pull a look
yeah,
together.
yeah, and they tie and bring everything together.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's huge.
And it enables you or who that person is, he or she, to tell their story without speaking a word. You can just see the look and be like, oh, okay, they're on their way to Cape Town or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, Brooklyn.
So you know, so it's fascinating because yeah, international might be now, right? I mean, you lived in London for quite some time, right? You lived, you know, I feel like
God's blessings.
absolutely, and so your path, right? So I'm, you know, like we said, I've known you for 25 years, and
Yeah.
we were kids at Bad Boy interning, and your path. I know you're from. Where are you from? You're
I'm from Greenburg.
Greenburg. Okay.
Greenburg, Westchester.
Okay.
Some may know it as White Plains, New York.
Right.
But, you know, I like to say Greenburg because that is where I'm from and that's what I represent. It's a little small town outside of White Plains, which is not too far from Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Yonkers. However, I was born in New Rochelle, and my family is Jamaican-Cuban descent. So after we left New Rochelle, we went to Jamaica, then we came back to White Plains, to Greenburg, and voila, here I am.
Voila. So is that, I know that, you know, Puff and, you know, Groove and all those guys are from New Rochelle. Is that how you kind of got to know them? How did
Yeah, pretty much. I would definitely say I met Groove. I actually met Groove at Westchester Community College. Groove was going to school there at the time.
Okay.
And I was still in 11th, 12th grade. But friends of mine and I used to cut school and, you know, make our way over to the college.
How much magic has happened in the cutting of the school? I hate to say that.
A lot of magic.
A lot of magic. My parents met. My mom cut school and met my dad. So it's like, I mean, how many cut school stories do we have?
Yeah.
Not that we're encouraging kids to cut school, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay in school, kids.
Stay in school, kids.
Stay in school, say no to drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I mean, a lot of magic has definitely happened from me being absent from class certain days,
Okay.
accidentally,
Right.
and you know, meeting Groove at Westchester, and you know, my brother of mine, Mike Boogie, introduced me to Groove, and the rest was history. I met Groove. I met the whole crew from, you know, his crew, which was 7 Up, and then it transformed to 8 Is Enough. And then, you know, my crew was the Rockefellers, but this was long before we even
Rockefeller
knew
Records,
about
right, yeah.
Rockefeller Records.
Right.
But, you know, we used to just, you know, the respect was always mutual because wherever my crew was, Groove's crew happened to be there as well too. But my brother Mike is older than me, and he's in that same classes with Groove. So, you know, that kind of turned into, you know, like them being like my big brothers, and
Yeah.
you know, kind of looking after me and schooling me and putting me on to certain things, and you know, pretty much just, you know, how to move throughout the streets a little
Right,
bit.
which is important.
Oh, absolutely.
So, growing up, only child?
Nah, I have 2 brothers, which are twins.
Okay.
And they're fraternal, Paul and Greg. And I have a little sister, Camille, which she's not really little anymore.
Yeah.
She's my little big sister.
Okay. I'm a little big sister too. So.
Right. So, and
all right, so it's four of you guys.
Yeah, it's four of us. It's four of us.
And how'd you grow up? Was it like middle class, like lower middle class, like?
We grew up.
Because you said you moved to Jamaica for 1 minute. So how long were you in Jamaica before you came back to Greenberg?
Well, I came to Greenberg when I was about 6, 7.
Okay.
About 7, and it was really cool because we came up. I would say kind of middle class. I would say middle class, borderline, not necessarily low class, because our parents always taught us to do with what we have, right?
Be happy with where you are.
Right. And at the same time, not necessarily be happy where you are, because they've always wanted us to strive for more, right? Mm-hmm. And not necessarily be content, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, they've always treated us and taught us that, our wealth and how we live and how we treat ourselves and who we are comes from within. You understand? So that was something that was along the lines of discipline, responsibility, showing initiative, respect, mannerly, just doing, I guess, your due diligence per se.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there has to be a humility with this.
Right. So even as you become successful.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, my parents, they had us, we played every sport there was, from soccer, baseball, football, basketball. I worked at a golf course.
I love it.
And
it's just well-rounded.
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't rich, but they did what they had to do.
You had a rich lifestyle
to take us on vacations and show us travel from an early age. So as I got older and moving around from, hanging out, whether in Harlem or in Brooklyn or the Bronx, because it was also easy because my being my family are Caribbean descent, we had family everywhere. So although I'm from Greenberg, Westchester, every weekend my brothers, we always spent the weekend with my cousins, whether if we were in the Bronx or if we were in Queens, right, or if we were in Brooklyn. So I was already adapting to this lifestyle,
right,
from the different boroughs. Absolutely. And, just hanging out with my cousins and, just seeing different things from Act 3, Skate Key, Empire Skate Boulevard,
and back in the day,
and Jamaica Ave, the Coliseum,
absolutely.
And early. So
I mean, back then we were commuter kids, right? So if you're a commuter kid, you hopped on the train, I hopped on dollar vans.
Absolutely.
You got where you needed to go. Yeah.
I got dollar van them. Shout out to all the dollar van drivers that's moving around and.
Shout
still
out
getting
to,
it.
I think it was Jamaican Lou, who used to take me in the white dollar van. Who was coming back to Rockaway, so I appreciate you, Lou. You listened in the Rockers the whole way. So, commuter kids and, a true New York kid, right?
Absolutely.
So you get where you need to get to.
Played in every basketball tournament.
You hear it's popping on West 4th. You hopping on the train, you get into West 4th, right?
True story. Played in every basketball tournament from Rucker to Citywide to Boys of Yesteryear to Millbank, AAU, Stone Gym. But yeah, when I came to Bad Boy, I originally came to Bad Boy as a rapper. Shout out to Phil Parbone. Phil Parbone was my first manager.
Yeah.
Peter Paul was my manager.
You have a good voice.
Huh?
You've always have had a good voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, once I got to Bad Boy, and I think it was the video shoot for Players Anthem, Groove couldn't make it to set. So I had to bring all the garments to the set for Big and the Mafia. So there was an opportunity during lunch where Big was just sitting in the drop, and Big already knew who I was because I was running around the office and stuff. So, I was like, yo, I'm trying to be this rapper, whatever. Yo, do me a favor, just listen to this for me, and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And I played it for him, and surprisingly, Big. Well, not surprisingly, because I knew I was dope.
Right. Of course, you were dope.
I knew I was dope, but
right.
Big was super dope. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of needed that stamp.
Yeah.
And that extra battery in my back. So I was like, yo, tell me what you think, boom, boom, boom. And he heard it, and he was like, yo, you sound dope. He was like, yo, you really got some shit. And I was like, all right, that's what's up. And then just moving forward, I kind of was still, pursuing it. But then I think the deeper I got into Bad Boy and assisting Groove with all these shoots and videos and learning going shopping and, then all of a sudden it turned into, Gwen Niles, shout out to Gwen Niles.
Shout out to Gwen.
Gwen was the A&R administrative.
Yeah, administrator, yeah.
Yeah, so Gwen also is from my neighborhood. So Gwen was like, Gwen and her homegirl, Jennifer Perry, were my camp counselor when I was little.
Yo, I just saw Jen Perry. She was at a Gary V live show, and she asked a question. She has a new candle line, right? And she was talking to Gary V. It's so funny. I
bought one of her black soaps.
Oh, that's dope.
I
gotta go support Jen.
Black soap is dope.
Yeah, I gotta go support Jen.
So I guess moving throughout, I said to Groove, I want to be your man's personal assistant, and at the same time of being Groove's assistant, I'm Leote Blacknor's
shout out to
intern,
yeah.
Where Leote was Puff's personal executive assistant.
Right.
Then running around with Harv in promotions.
Shout out to Harv.
Running around, dipping in and out of Kirk Burrow's office.
Right.
So I was trying to learn all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I guess it was like I was attending the University of Bad Boy Entertainment, and Puff was the hottest principal at the time. You know what I'm saying? And I was taking all of these different classes, right? So that's how I was really literally treating this. And at the same time, it was like free tuition, on-hand training. You know what I'm saying?
There was no better training ground at the time.
Absolutely. So, during this time as an intern, we were only getting $5 and 2 tokens a day. For those of you who only know Metro cards, you millennials.
You got tokens,
baby. Token was your train fare. Right. That's how you got on and off the train. So you got your $5 for lunch and your token to go home and to come back in the morning. But what I used to do is I used to not only save my tokens, cash my tokens in, get the bread from the train station, and I would go and flip.
Right.
Get weed, sell the weed to all the executives in the office.
Oh, wow. You had a whole thing going on.
But then I was also hustling Motorola flip phones. And
so were you the one that everyone was getting the burnouts from?
I think so, most likely. Before the Ericssons came.
Because at one point, I have, we could probably share 1 million Bad Boy
stories. Oh, absolutely.
At one point, I was...
and this is, we're long past of statute of limitation as well, too. So if y'all trying to build a case, good luck.
At one point, I was hanging out with Clue, and Clue was trying to get back in Bad Boy's good graces because I think that he had...
he had the Ericssons. He also had the Ericssons, though.
Oh, he had the Ericssons.
Clue had the Ericssons. Yeah. So that's after the Motorola flips came. That was the transition. Okay. So I used to tell. So Puff used to buy like 2-3 phones for me a week because they wouldn't last because they were burnouts, of course.
Right.
So I told Groove, I was like, yo, tell your man, I'll give him 2 to 3 phones for free if he lets me be his liaison. So that's how that came about. So Gwen, being the inside homie, I immediately ran so when Groove set it up, I stepped to Puff and I told Puff, I was like, yo, I kind of lied because I was only 2 weeks deep into the office already. And I told Son, I was like, yo, I know you're going out of town on Friday, but I said, I think you're getting ready to go out of town, but I got a resume for you that I want to present to you to be, your liaison, whatever. And I'm sure Groove told you the proposition, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. Just make sure you get it to me on Friday. Being Leote's intern, I knew he was going out of town Friday morning. So I ran to Gwen's office, and Gwen helped me put together this little resume CV, which really enlisted whatever I did around the office. From promotions to what campaign or what album or what single or whatever we did. So I got it to him on Thursday. He was like, ride with me to my next meeting. So I went and told Leote, I was like, yo, I'm about to go to Puff's next meeting. And she was like, his next meeting? He doesn't have a meeting. I was like, well, he told me to come to him with his next meeting. So when I looked on the schedule, I was like, he doesn't have a meeting. So I get in the cab with him, we riding, and my interview is actually riding with Puff to the spa. So my interview was basically riding with Puff to the spa and babysitting Justin while he is getting his spa treatment, right?
Did Justin have his full-length mink on?
Not yet. Just I think was only like 1 or 2 at the time. So but it's crazy because the first question that Puff asked me during this interview that kind of resonates with me still to this day is he asked me, he was like, so you got a girlfriend? Like, what are you doing? And you got another job? And I was like, it's funny because during this time of that era, it was about trying to be player.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I was like, nah, I don't got a girl, but I got a couple of honeys or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he looked at me and he's like, all right, cool. But moving forward, I get the reason behind that is because he was basically saying, as I started working with him and realizing this, he wasn't asking me this to see, what kind of cool cat was I.
Yeah.
He was asking me this basically to find out, okay, if you're going to be rocking with me, you got to be prepared to put your heart into this.
Yeah, and
right?
you don't need distractions.
And you don't need the distractions.
Right, yeah.
So it wasn't until later on
that you realized
that I realized really what was the meaning behind that question.
Yeah, because I'm sure he had you working. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. It was no sleep till Brooklyn.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
But you got what you wanted.
I got what I wanted because there was times where, let's say, we leave the office, then we go to the studio. We don't leave the studio till 4 a.m. But my last train from Metro North going up to White Plains, the last train is like 1:30 in the morning, leaving Grand Central Station. So there's times where, I was his driver, and if I couldn't hop the train and I missed the train, I would basically drop Puff off. He'd tell me put the car in the garage, but I'd drop him off, turn the corner, and the minute I turn the corner, go straight to the FDR and go straight up to the crib. So I would make sure that I was back at the crib by 9 a.m. So I would literally come back downtown, wash the car, make sure I get it washed, get gas, boom, 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 and then put it back in the parking lot and be back in his crib by 9 a.m.
Wow, the hustle's real.
So later on, I'm just saying, like, okay, I can't keep taking this man's crib to the hood, taking his whip to the hood.
Yeah.
I'm starting to look like food and dangling fresh meat in front of the hood. But my hood loved it. They respected me.
Well, they knew you.
Right?
They
knew
so
what it
different.
was. So
I always say that when you're from the hood, you know your hood.
Absolutely.
And your hood knows you.
So, I would pull up on the block, hop out, smoke wild splits with everybody, boom, 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 whatever the case may be, and keep it moving. But then after a while, out of respect, I was like, I can't keep doing this to that man. You understand what I'm saying? Out of respect. And so what I would do is I would literally just crash on his couch, right?
Wow.
I would probably say I was living with Puff for like 4 months before he actually figured out that I was living with him. And it wasn't until he came downstairs one morning, like 3 a.m, and he heard me sleeping on the couch, and he was like, "Yo, what you doing?" And I was like, Yote kind of knew that I was staying with you for the past 2-3 months or whatever the case may be. And he was like, you was living here? And I was like, yeah. He was like,
you got to get out.
No, not even. He didn't even say anything. He just turned the light off and then went right back upstairs. So I was like, yes.
All right, cool. Right.
I was like, all right.
I can do my job.
Right.
I can do my job.
Right.
And you're pretty meticulous, so it's not like, you know what I mean, you take good care of yourself. You always been kind of,
absolutely.
So it's not one of those things where, you the slob that's leaving things
Oh,
around.
yeah, no, not at all. My parents have taught us and raised me very well.
This podcast was brought to you by 23DB Productions, ID Productions, and One of One Productions. For more information, go to Facebook and Instagram, Unexpected Success with Joy.